If health care is going to get to the president in the next 10 days, it will happen because Democrats like Chris Van Hollen convinced Democrats like Brian Baird to support the measure. So let me start with you. The basic question, is health care going to pass? You right now have a mortal lock on 216 votes.
I believe it will pass. Do we have a mortal lock? No, because people are still looking at some of the changes that are being made to the bill. The president, of course, sent Congress a letter with some additional ideas based on the bipartisan summit he had. So until people have a final product that they're able to look at, and the Congressional Budget Office, our referee on budget issues, says whether or not this will do what the earlier bills did, then I think it's going to be hard to get people to commit. But I think the trend is in the right direction because people see that the status quo is absolutely broken. They're seeing these skyrocketing health premiums from around the country. They're seeing that people continue to lose their health coverage every day, whether it's because of costs or because they lose their job and then they lose their health care. So if you ask people now, I think, do you want us to stop and walk away? The clear answer is no.
I'll get back to that point in a second. But as one of those who is not committed at this very moment, you voted no on the House bill the last time around. What is it about the Senate bill that you all will be voting on through this reconciliation process that makes you even consider voting yes?
Well, the first thing is I want to absolutely agree with Chris. There's no question that we need to reform. The current system, the rising costs, the numbers of uninsured, the ability to be rejected if you have a pre-existing condition is absolutely unacceptable. We have to do something. And I actually applaud President Obama and the Democratic Party for taking this difficult challenge on. The House bill, I think I'm in a place where many Americans are. They see the need for reform. The question is this the best way we can do reform? It is very complicated. It will be expensive, though, to its credit, both bills, the House and the Senate bill, would be largely paid for and actually reduce the deficit over time.
So if you're convinced of that, why don't you just say, yeah, I'm going to vote for it?
Well, I would have approached it perhaps a good bit different to see us start and say, what are the things we can agree on? I think most Americans agree that you should not discriminate against pre-existing conditions. I think it makes a lot of sense to be able to buy policies across state lines. So you have competition and you can carry your policy with you if you move or lose your job. The complexity, I think, worries a lot of people. And when you read these bills, they're very long, very complicated because they build on an existing complicated system, and it's not really a system, it's a hodgepodge. You have Medicare A, B, D, Medicaid, state programs, S-CHIP, etc. That worries a lot of people and frankly troubles me.
Congressman, you're retiring, and one of the things we've heard out there is that the pitch to retiring Democrats is, take one for the team here. We really need your vote. We've got some problems with those who have problems with the abortion language. So go ahead and take one for the team. How does that pitch strike you?
It has no impact on me whatsoever, and here's why. I spent 23 years of my life delivering health care. I was a neuropsychologist before I came to Congress. That was the career and profession I chose because health care matters so much to me. So at the end of the day, to say, well, do this for political reasons or don't do it for political reasons makes no difference to me. The only thing I care about is this the best policy we can do under the circumstances for the American people?
Congressman Baird is concerned about some things that are not going to change in this bill, as he just articulated. So, what do you say to get this vote here?
Well, first, I would not ask Brian to vote for this just for the team, and I have not asked him to do it. I mean, I've asked Brian to look at the bills as he has, and I'm sure he'll wait until the Congressional Budget Office comes back with its analysis. That's what we would expect of any member.
We're not about the budget.
But when it comes to things like pre-existing conditions, these bills prohibit discrimination based on pre-existing conditions. And what became very clear at the White House discussion is that the Republican alternative does not prohibit discrimination on those things. They create a high-risk pool, which has been tried in many states, but the problem is it hasn't worked successfully. We do have exchanges. We have exchanges that have a referee on the field, just like the Federal Employees Health Benefit Plan that members of Congress use. That's the model we have so that people can have that choice and that competition. So I believe that a lot of the issues that Brian has raised are addressed in the bill, and what has to happen is as the changes, the most recent changes the President has made and suggested are incorporated, I hope it will meet his test. But on those 2 points that he raised, these bills are a lot better off than the status quo. They make Americans a lot better off than the status quo.
So you're nodding. So you're ready to vote yes?
No, what I would say is Chris is absolutely right. you know, you've got a system, again, it's not a system, a hodgepodge, an amalgamation of prior programs that doesn't work very well. Chris is absolutely right. This is an improvement. It's as they say in Spanish, menos mal, less bad, for sure. The House bill was better than the status quo. I think the Senate bill is better than that. My problem is I still see a number of difficulties with the whole structure, and my personal struggle, quite frankly, is could we not do this in a much more elegant, simple, direct, straightforward way? I think we could. I doubt I'm going to get a chance to do that. So the difficult choice for some of us is to say, this is not the bill I would write by a darn sight, but it is certainly better than the status quo. What would we do if we don't have this option?
You would vote against it if you come to a conclusion that you don't like it, even if it meant health care went down?
Yes.
Okay. I want to...
Well, let me clarify that. The problem is, if I think we could come up with a better solution, okay, to just say health care reform goes down and therefore nothing ever happens, that would be a tragedy. And so that's the choice. I don't think this bill is what I would like to see us do if I ran the universe, as it were, but I don't get to do that. So the status quo is unsustainable.